Not a very good start for commuters in Cape Town. They were once again forced to find alternative transport as a two-day stay away by Santaco, the taxi organisation, began this morning. This is in protest over the Western Cape government's decision to halt its Blue Dot taxi project, which saw safe driving incentivised. The association also wants an end to heavy fines and the impounding of taxis. Let's get the very latest from eNCA's Nobesuthu Hejana in Cape Town. Nobesuthu, thanks very much for joining us. It was pretty chaotic this morning. We also saw, I think it was at least 2 buses torched, which you're going to tell us about in a minute. But just in terms of the afternoon rush hour, have most commuters made an alternative plan, or were a lot of people still without transport this afternoon?
Well, Sally, just as what we've seen this morning, where quite a number of people were stranded in various locations and Golden Arrow buses having to step in and obviously being escorted in many of the townships. So it was the same this afternoon. We're in town at the Golden Arrow bus terminal, where we saw people also there flocking there, and also knowing that the Golden Arrow buses had to take over to assist those people who were without taxis or who would normally take a taxi to town. Because I did speak to, I think it was about 3 pupils who were writing their exams this morning, and they were telling me that, they had to travel very early this morning to catch the bus, which is something that they don't usually do, but they had to. And they were also talking about the financial impact that for them the taxi is much cheaper than the buses. So this afternoon it was the same scenes where people would often or would rather take the Golden Arrow buses to head home.
And these poor kids are riding matric, so let's hope none of them miss their exams. I want to ask you about this Blue Dot system. So my understanding is it was a plan to incentivise safe driving, but now the Western Cape government is ending it. And Santaco is saying, no, you cannot do that. This is among other concerns around heavy fines, etc., etc. They're also denying, as far as I hear, any involvement in these bus torchings. So talk to me about Blue Dot and then the violence that happened on the roads today.
So Blue Dot program, it's an incentive by the Western Cape Transport Department where they compensate good driving or good behavior on the roads. It was started back in 2020 as a pilot project, and about 880 taxis across the Western Cape are part of that particular program. But the Western Cape Transport Department this year is saying that it has run out of funds, and so it can't afford to continue with the program. And MEC Mitchell saying that he has written to the national government to try and see if they can assist with finances, but they haven't heard anything from them. So from their side, they can't afford to continue with the program. But the taxi association saying that it was a good thing, so they promised that after its pilot project they will continue. It was never said to them that they would be running out of funds, or should they run out of funds, what would be the aftermath of that. So they were saying that one taxi driver would normally get about 10,000, and then they would share with the driver if the money goes to the owner. But we saw this morning violence in areas like Khayelitsha, where 2 buses were torched, and the Santaco saying that it has nothing to do with that. Theirs is just to ensure that they stay away, as they had promised that it would be a peaceful stay away. But let's take a listen to what Mr. eNCA had to say.
We have not received any communication from the department stating that they would like to sit on the table with us. What we have received is a letter from Kyle, who is a deputy director in the Department of Mobility, whereby he is criticizing us for taking this action, stating that they've been supporting the program for the 18 months, but we have not received any form of communication that calls for discussions.
Yeah, and the Western Cape Mobility MEC Mitchell was absolutely scathing about the torching of those 2 buses.
Today,
let's take a listen.
What happened today is nothing more than thuggery and criminality, and from a regulatory perspective, I will use every every avenue and every legal mechanism at my disposal to ensure that the commuter is safe, public infrastructure are protected, and the communities are protected. Because ultimately, this is not how you negotiate. This is not how you as in collaboration or in partnerships with stakeholders. This is absolutely not the way to go. So I'm very, very disappointed that we got to this point. And again, I want to, on public record, call the industry to please refrain from intimidating, from criminal activities, and ultimately ensure that the commuter that's at the heart of both the government and the industry, that they are not the ones that suffer.
So this stay-away is due to continue tomorrow. What should commuters and particularly students prepare themselves for?
Well, we do know that from the Western Cape Education Department, arrangements have been made for matric pupils where they can go to any centres that's the nearest centre or examination centre near to them. They can just provide with the ID and the timetable just to prove that they are writing tomorrow. So those plans have been made. But also Mobility MEC MEC Mitchell saying that tomorrow they will intensify law enforcement agencies on the ground to try and avoid what happened today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that update. Much appreciated. Nobesuthu Hejana in Cape Town.